Hey everybody, so glad you're all here. Thank you guys all for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for all coming today. We are in Herkimer, County, and I'm outside and far more than 6 feet, so I'll remove my mask. Don't get mad at me. So yes, I am doing the social distancing thing, as I always say. This is stop number 50 out of 62 to cross the entire state. And I'm so happy that all of you have joined me yet again. I'm at the Waterfront Cafe in Herkimer, and right over here, which you probably can't see, I might see in the background, is actually the Erie Canal. Amazing Erie Canal, so wonderful. One of the amazing feats that New York State actually did. Right now in New York State, those of you who don't know, one reason why I love my state so much is here. The Erie Canal costs us about $100 million every single year to maintain capital projects, and we make about $5 million. Yep, that's a loss of $95 million every single year on the Erie Canal. You say to yourself, wow, that's bad. Yeah, regular math shows us that bad, not even Common Core. Regular math shows that's a terrible idea. That doesn't work. So things are not working right now. So what was our answer? You know what we should do? Let's have the government take it over, because that always works. With the exception of every single time, that always works. Absolutely. With that one minor exception of always, it always works. I get it. Reality, once we did that, we kept losing money. Hasn't changed a thing. So what did I talk about? It's about the idea of creating an environment of making the Erie Canal actually work for New York again. Actually allow. There are about 36 locks, about 35, 36 locks on the Erie Canal. We could literally lease naming rights to all 35 of those locks. There could be a Taco Bell lock. There could be a Waterfront Grille lock. There could be a McDonald's lock or a Pepsi lock or multiple of them. There could be local diners, local industry lock, Remington lock, whatever the case may be, whatever we like, we could do a Corning lock. Each of those becomes their individual touring site. Each of them allows them to put up their own ideas and concepts there to promote themselves. And now we can fund the locks and fund the repair of the Erie Canal without using taxpayer money. We can actually fund it. But I'm still not done. On the Erie Canal, know what we should have? We should have hovercraft on the Erie Canal. I'm not kidding. When I was in the Marine Corps many years ago, in the 80s, we had a hovercraft that could take a tank across the ocean and drop it off on some beach. You tell me now we can't have cool hovercraft across the Erie Canal to cross the entire state of New York? The Erie Canal goes from Buffalo to Albany, across the entire state. You jump on Hudson and down to New York. You can't have a multi-day cruise or tour on a hovercraft across the sea all of New York. Of course you could. Would people pay for it? Of course they would. How do I know that? We just took like barrels of beer across parts of the Erie Canal, and people stood on the side of the Erie Canal and watched for hours. Of course they would pay to do that. It's cool, it's interesting. But even better, we have amazing colleges and universities in New York State. Larry, how are you going to put hovercraft on the Erie Canal? How are you going to make the Erie Canal work for hovercraft? I don't know, and I don't have to know. But we have literally thousands of very smart, savvy students across the college and university of New York State who would love to be involved in that and would show us exactly how to do it, giving them mission and purpose to fix our state and to stay here and not leave and go someplace else. We could do that. Different ideas to fix the Erie Canal, to grow our state without using force, without raising taxes. We can do it. But what is our answer instead? Let's put more regulations on our canal. Let's have more people oversight, look over our canal, and that'll work. All that actually happens is we add more regulations, more check boxes, and nothing gets done. In fact, things get worse. And we've done that same thing with our healthcare. We've done it with our farming. We've done it with our businesses again and again and again. In an attempt to do the right thing, an attempt to be safe, because we've got to be safe, an attempt to do that, we wind up making us less safe. We wind up making people leave. We wind up making things worse. Only libertarian parties talk about actually making people better, happier, safer, and want to stay in our state. Now, I'm very lucky today. I have somebody here who's running for New York State Senate who wants to talk about exactly that. How do we get New York State and our country as a whole to actually stop thinking that the only answer is the stick, and that the answer can be the carrot, and creating better environments for people to be free? That when we just add the stick and make it force, people fight back or they leave. Both are the wrong answer. I'm going to bring him up right now. My friend of mine is crossing the state too, because he's got tons of counties in his district he's running for. man himself, Tim O'Connor.
Guys, you may be getting sick of seeing me on Larry's show, but the reality is, in Senate District 51, we cover 9 counties. 9 counties. Senate District 51 is the size of Connecticut. I've been out to Cortland with Larry. I've been up to Madison County just to say hi and say thank you to Larry. All the way down to Ulster County, all the way out to Schoharie County. I mean, this is a mammoth county. It's filled with, you can probably see in the background, not just the Erie Canal, but beautiful scenery. We have hills, rolling hills. We have an agricultural community. But every day, guys, we face these problems of there's too much regulation. There's every time you turn around, you feel like, let's just say I bought a hovercraft and want to put it on the Erie Canal just for fun. Guys, I'd probably end up in jail. That's the reality, right? At the very least, I would get some sort of massive fine and my name would be written up in the paper. We overreact, and we need to learn to come up with creative solutions to bring some fun back into this. I have my 16-year-old daughter is with me today. We want to look at her economic future in New York State. And when we talk about what her economic future might be, I'm not sure that New York State offers it right now. When Larry's talking about let's have some fun, engaging projects for kids to be part of, let's open up these things of regulation, these problems that we see with regulation. And guys, I can list those things. People reach out to me constantly about regulations and problems with regulations. Also with me today, Dr. John Paul Sweet, ear, nose, throat specialist, had a big, huge practice down in Oneonta. And as he progressed in business, he constantly watched regulations increasing, making it harder and less enjoyable to do business. Now, Dr. Sweet has been a supporter of mine, is a friend of mine, came up here to Herkimer to see Larry once again. And guys, we have to have respect for that. We have to respect people more. His business did well, but he decided to retire because it just became too complicated to keep it going. So when we look at these situations, last night I'm hanging out with a guy. Literally, there's another person who has a competing business trying to use the force of his town legislator to prevent him from competing. And those are the things that, as a representative, a Senate representative, I'm going to have a platform to communicate with people about problems like that, about how we can treat each other better. How a guy like Larry Sharpe being governor, and guys, he's going to need some persuasion. Let's be bottom line. He wants to know that we're behind him and he's behind us, and he is behind us because here he is, 62 counties across the state of New York, just sharing his platform with guys like me. So how do we keep that going? How do we keep building on that? Basically just by effort, basically by having conversations and by basically treating each other better every single chance we get. Stop trying to convince the government to legislate your friend out of business. Stop trying to use the government to signal your virtue, which, guys, let's be real about that. That's a huge problem in New York State. We write regulations, we write laws, and they all boil down to a virtue signal. Where you end up almost pointing a gun at your neighbor because you don't like what the way they think or what they talk about. Because I want to turn this back over to Larry. Again, thanking him for everything that he's done for me. Again, thanks to my daughter for joining me today. Thank you, Dr. Sweet, for driving up to Herkimer. This is the change that we're working towards. These are the things that the Libertarian Party offers, a recognition that our neighbors are important, a recognition that places like the Waterfront Grille are important, that there could be a fun way to revitalize the entire Erie Canal structure. So instead of losing $95 million a year, maybe it only loses $75 million a year, okay? And we can take a look. That theory repeats itself. That activity repeats itself throughout the state, okay? It happens in Manhattan with the mass transit system. It happens up here in upstate New York with the Erie Canal system. We can achieve a better system of governance. It's going to take work. It's going to take fun. And it's going to take engagement. And so, again, Larry, thank you very much for your time and sharing your platform with me. At Tim for 51 on Facebook.
Thank you, Tim. Yes, don't forget that at Tim451 on Facebook to see what Tim is doing, particularly if you happen to live in his area. Please help him out. He could use your help. He could use your cash. If you've got it, if you don't have cash, he could use your time. He could use your time in sharing what he's doing, watching his videos. He has his own show often. He's out there doing it. So please support him and guys like him if you can in New York State. Some of you may be wondering why we're so late. Well, because we were inside because of government regulations that Tim just talked about. We weren't able to do a decent event. We'd have to have our mask on. We couldn't hear, so we went outside, and now we're following the rules. We are outside and 6 feet away, so we can actually have a better event. We're trying to survive. And some people got upset at me. Larry, why would you be inside and wearing the mask? The mask doesn't work, or the mask is bad. To be forward with you, I don't care whether it doesn't work. That isn't the issue. The point is, if I'm in someone's facility and I'm not following the rules that they have set, the government's going to come in and shut them down. I can like that. I can hate that. It doesn't matter. I don't want to hurt business. I talk about supporting small businesses, getting rid of those regulations. This is another set of regulations that's crushing small businesses, but we're trying to help them. Yet again, I'm in a local place helping local people. This is the most important piece you will hear me say of all the things I say. The only way we are going to support our country, our counties, our state, is by local people doing good. That is how we will survive, not by top-down mandates and rules. That just makes people fight and fight each other. But instead, local people doing good. Well, Larry, what's that, magic? No, that's creating an environment where people will be encouraged to do good on their own and others will copy. You see it all the time. If we do that, we can win. Are Democrats talking about that? No. Are Republicans talking about that? No. Only libertarians are talking about what actually works. And I'll give you a crazy example. Subway. Not the Subway in New York City. The sandwich shop. Probably everybody watching, and all you might have been coming, everybody who came, probably knows of the $5 footlong. Have you heard of that before? You know what it is. And you probably said to yourself, man, that was brilliant. Those Subway executives coming up with that amazing slogan. That's not what happened. What Subway did and what Quiznos did not do, one reason why Quiznos suffered so much, is because Quiznos had a heavy top-down control. Subway doesn't. Subway doesn't. And an individual franchise owner came up with the idea of $5 footlongs. That was an individual franchise owner. He said, let me try this. And what happened? Lunchtime flooded his store with $5 footlongs for lunch. That was a big deal. He saw a huge increase in cash. Now, obviously, in the case of a franchise, transparency is everywhere. They can see the books. They see, oh my God, this guy's making money. What happened? Other franchisees followed suit, and they started doing $5 footlongs. $5 footlong subs. And when that happened, guess what happened? Then franchises said you could do it. The top downs to do it. But if you notice, they also said something else. At participating stores. Meaning that even when Subway had a national concept, they still allowed the individual store owner to not do it. They thought it wouldn't work in their local area. They even agreed to that. Why? For those of you who don't know this, in certain seasons, in certain areas of the country, they actually can't get young kids to work in fast food because the local tourist industry will pay so much more. So they wind up having to pay kids in certain specific areas $12, $15, $18, $20 an hour to work at a Subway. Otherwise, they'll go work someplace else. That specific store owner can't do $5 footlongs because they'll lose money. Yet again, local communities surviving how they should survive. And even when top-down comes down, it's a suggestion for everyone to follow in their own world. This isn't stuff we're making up as libertarians. This is time-tested ideas. Tim is right. It is all about removing those regulations and giving more suggestions for local people to do the right thing and for us to copy. That's how we have success. Not just in life, not just in politics, but in business too. In everything is how it works. So the only people talking about this are guys like Tim, running in Senate District, New York State 51. Guys like him are doing it. So let's support him and others. This year, vote gold. It is the only answer for our country, for our state and our county. Vote gold this year. We are the only ones talking about it. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, guys.